Hey guys, this is the one and only Sonic Ranger back with another video review of epic proportions, and today we're going to take a look at a figure that I am not very satisfied with, in all honesty. So there you go, I've just given my overall thoughts on this figure, so let's just go ahead and put this matter to rest. Everything that you're about to hear in this video review is me trying to support everything that's going on with this character in action figure form, from the armor to the articulation. Even the paint job on this figure really isn't that good. Some of the spray effect to illuminate the lights on top of his head is way off. You could probably even see it. I mean, it's just like way off. I mean, they missed. They totally missed. So, yeah, you can already see at first glance we're going to have a problem with this figure, and I cannot wait to dive in and explain everything else about this figure that could have been better if there was a little more time in consideration with this one. But that said, it is the Elite Zealot action figure. He is the only Covenant figure that comes in this series. Everybody else is Spartans. He's the only Covenant. Think about that for a moment. As I pull out this box and take a look, five Spartan figures and one Covenant. One. That's not counting the ghost vehicle that comes with a figure, the Elite Officer. We'll get to that shortly. So, if we count that, then that's 2 Covenant figures and still 5 Spartan figures. I've said my piece, and yeah, you gotta work on that, Mattel, with the next series. So, enough about that rant. Let's go ahead and get to the figure at hand, but even before we do that, as per video review when I can, let's take a look at the Elite Zealot packaging, which, just like the other figures of this series, is pretty good. Definitely collectible. It is a very, very thick box. It's thicker than Master Chief and Spartan Locks boxes. They are pretty much one and the same here. They are very thin when compared to the Elite Zealot. You can see that it's thicker because the figure is bigger. He's bulkier. He's got to fill in more space than compared to these two. So, yeah. Yeah, I'll just show this off because I'm sure a lot of people have talked about it already, so I might as well. So, as you can see, we got a nice profile image going on here for displaying the boxes on the side. So, that's pretty cool. And I hope that Mattel will continue to do that throughout the rest of this toy line, that being Series 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, depending on how long it keeps going, who knows. But, yeah, keep that in consideration, Mattel. That's some phenomenal work there. Anyway, not much to talk about on the front, so let's just go ahead and move to the back, because I will give the Alpha Crawler its fair due when I get to the review of the Alpha Crawler. There's no reason for me to go through the parts that this figure comes with or any other figure of this series. So, here we go. As you can see, we got a nice image of the Elite Zealot without his armor on, which is badass. Mattel spares no expense on this. That's so freaking cool that every single bit of armor on these figures is interchangeable and removable. Freaking awesome. Freaking A. Love it. And then, of course, here's your armor for the figure right here. And then his only weapon he comes with, which is a Covenant Energy Sword, and we'll get to that as well. And then, of course, there's the image that was cut off on the side, which they can't fill it all in. Completely right here on the back, showing him holding his Covenant Energy Sword, which can be questionable for the way he holds it. 30 points of articulation on this guy. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and challenge that because I don't believe it. And then, of course, here's the other figures at hand, which we'll get to the rest very shortly. The Build-A-Figure, the Alpha Crawler, with all the numbers consisting on what parts these characters come with in specific orders. And that's really going to do it for that. So let's go ahead and put that aside and bring back in the Elite Zealot Try saying that 5 times. Elite Zealot, Elite Zealot, Elite Zealot. God, I couldn't even make 2. But, yeah. So, the Elite Zealot, all completely armored up. He looks... okay. I'm gonna be honest. It's not as good as the Spartan figures, and... he's just... wow. You know what? I can stutter all I want. I cannot defend this guy outside of the fact that the overall appearance looks pretty good. And then we have to bring in the size comparisons when compared to the other characters of Series 1, Spartan Locke, Master Chief. And then you notice that something smells rotten in the state of Denmark because, as far as I know, the elites are supposed to be big. And I mean big. Now, in defense to this line that is attracted to still a child's age range, I'm gonna say that this is okay. I don't agree with this, but for what it is, it's okay. I was expecting just a little bit more with that target range of 8 and up, right around the point of the collecting age. So, you know, the fact that the Elite Zealot, you know, is a little taller over Master Chief, just a little bit, not much. I mean, we're talking this much right here. I guess he still looks menacing and threatening to the Spartans, but when it really comes down to it, no. Just no. And there is nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, that you can do to fix this, okay? You see this? You see this? Forget about it. There's no way you can get this figure to stand taller when compared to Master Chief or any other Spartan figures of this series, thanks to what is my next problem, the articulation. So let's go ahead and take Locke and Master Chief out of here because I just gave you your size comparisons of this video, and this is going to be a wreck here. So let's go ahead and get to the articulation, which is pretty pro from the top. We'll get to the lower half in just a minute. So it's got a ball jointed neck, nothing at the head, but a ball jointed neck, which does get a fair amount of range considering what's going on back here. You'd think all this would be hindered, but no, it's actually pretty good. Now, obviously, he can't look up. There's no freaking way he can look up. He can look down, he can look straight forward, he can look left, right, he can tilt his head to the side like, say, what? And that's it. But, yeah, common sense would tell you, because of the design of this figure, you're not going to get him to look up. So, anyway, moving on. Ball jointed shoulders, go around complete 360. They do go in and out, though they are hindered just a little bit because of the armor, but you can still get them to come out. Pretty good range. I mean, that's completely flat right there, flat. So, it's normal for a standard action figure. So, anyway, elbow joint, it's single jointed, not double jointed, so a little bit of a disappointment. No bicep rotation. I totally did not forget that. It's just because the figure doesn't have bicep rotation, but in lieu of that, because of the design of this character, there's actually rotation at the elbow. It's not as good. It's hindered because of this armor here. The sculpting hinders it. And I wouldn't risk it because you might even break it. You really might break something. But, yeah, it's not bad. I mean, he can still do the whole John Cena thing, you know, that stupid you can't see me crap. But, yeah, anyway, I won't do that again. Wrist rotation, there's also a joint here for it to fold in and out like so, and it's not hindered to the armor either, so that's pretty good. He's got a ball joint to his upper portion of the body, allowing him to go around like this. Oh, it's got, you know, folding in like that, folding out like that, side to side pivoting. Pretty good. If it wasn't for this armor piece right here, I'm sure it could go around a complete 360, but you don't want to break that only peg that's holding it in place. The only piece that's holding it in place. Not a good idea, Mattel. Anyway, that said, that's pretty much all the pros on the figure's articulation. Let's go ahead and get to the cons and the failure part of this figure. The lower portion of the figure. It's a brick. I hate to say it. There's articulation down here, but hardly any articulation, and it's not because of the armor. It's because of the sculpting of this figure. Everything about it is because of the sculpting. So think about that for a moment. He does have ball jointed legs. He does. They do go in and out. As you can see, they do go up and down, but that's as far as they go up and down because of the sculpting that goes all the way around to the back of him. His butt. Everything. He's blocked here at the top. He's blocked here at the bottom. You get a little bit. That's it. He does have a thigh cut, as you can see. So, you know, if you want the figure to kick, you can if you cheat. But it still looks pretty legit. And then his knees. Oh, I hate this part. That's all you get. That's it. That's it. He does have also some rotation, but for some reason I can't get it to go any further than that. I can't do a complete 360. And then the feet. This I just don't like. There's a ball joint in here. You can see that it does move and it does rotate, but thanks to the sculpting underneath this, not the armor, the sculpting, you get nothing out of it, just that. You can't really get an up and down. You really can't do much with the lower portion of this figure, and there's no ankle pivot. That said though, you don't need it because this figure's got some big feet. He's gonna stand no matter how you pose him. He'll stand just fine. I can split his legs out as far as possible, and I can still keep him balanced. He's not gonna fall over even though his feet are off the ground. Still though, big feet is a big saver there. So, you know, that's gonna do it for the figure at hand. Let's go ahead and take a look at the only weapon he comes with, and like I said, it's the Covenant Energy Sword, which, you know, it's not a big deal. It's not, okay? It is his primary weapon. It's his weapon of choice. It's what he uses throughout the video game series, and it's the one weapon that scares me to death when I play the video games. I hate this weapon when it's against me. Not when I've got it, but when it's against me. I totally hate it. Especially these guys when they're wielding it. So, it is the exact same sword that came with Master Chief. There is no difference. Same clear plastic, same color, same frosted tip, same paint deco for the handle piece. Everything is one and the same. So, there you have it. He does hold it pretty good. I will be honest about that. It doesn't take much. It's not really a hassle like it is with McFarlane's Elite figures. You don't feel like you're going to break the fingertips just to get him to hold the freaking sword in hand. It's in there. It's not going anywhere at all. This is not going anywhere. It's not going to come out unless I really force it to come out. But thankfully, his hands are rubber, so they're not going to break. I mean, it's just, there you go, see? And, yeah, very easy, very tight, not going anywhere. Gripe about my figure, your results will vary. As you can see, the sword is pretty heavy on this figure's hand because it is a loose joint. So I can touch that up with a little bit of super glue or maybe some future floor polish or something that I got around here, something, anything. But, yeah. Thanks to the design, this curve going on with his hand and his forearm, he doesn't look good holding this thing, does he? Like, no matter which way I turn this, it doesn't look threatening at all because of the posure to his freaking arm and his hand. Because of the curve, it doesn't look good. I don't understand that. Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's not much else to talk about with this figure, so I've said my piece on it. The only thing that I can do is take him to pieces and show you what he looks like without his armor so we can wrap up this video review. So let's do that real quickly. Okay, so here he is without his armor. It's pretty good. The detailing on this figure is spectacular. Just like all the other action figures that I review of this series. If the sculpting on this figure is not good, why in the hell would it even be made? I mean, look at this work. Fantastic. I mean, yes, it's a bland paint job. I'm going to be honest, there's hardly any paint going on here, but for where it is, this gunmetal gray here that's reflecting off of his feet and his elbows and the back here, it's pretty good for what it is. It's not oversprayed. It looks great. And then, of course, he's got detailing going on here for his shoulders, which is a perfect match on both sides. Perfect. Looks great. And there's a little bit of some spraying in here, some black washing, kind of, which, you know, makes the head overall pop, especially in the mouth where, you know, there's no jaw, obviously, unless you count these mandibles here. So, disturbing. Yeah. Ugh! The more I think about it, but yeah, creepy. But the eyes are painted pretty good, crisp and clean. They're not oversprayed and they're not off, unlike the actual paint job that was on the helmet. If I can find the helmet, I'll show it one more time up close and personal. There it is. As you can see, it is sprayed incorrectly. Someone totally missed the target. Yeah. So, anyway, without the helmet, you do get one more bit of articulation on this figure, so don't think I forgot. You can actually turn his head about that much on both sides. Can't go a complete 360 thanks to this piece right here, but yeah, one more bit of articulation helps. Every little bit of articulation that this figure can get truly helps. So, articulation is pretty much standpoint when compared to him wearing his armor. Everything is one and the same. There is no more going on here. It's all the same. Even with his armor on, this is the same. Especially with the feet. Like I said, the armor isn't hindering anything at all on this figure. Everything is because of the sculpting. So everything this figure gets as a result is because of the sculpting here. But, you know, it's still a great sculpted figure. Fantastic work. I mean, wow. Mattel is just knocking it out of the ballpark so far with this line. Not as good as McFarlane Toys, but for what they have, for what their creativity can conjure up, it's pretty good. Could be a little better. Just a little bit. So I'm not knocking the figure, okay? He might be a little bit of a disappointment for me for some of the reasons that I explained in this video review, but overall, I still like the figure. Now, one funny thing that I have to bring up, everything on the figure, all the armor is interchangeable with other Elite figures of this series, even though there's just one other figure out there of an Elite. That said, yes, the cock piece. The cock piece is interchangeable. As you can see, there's a hole. So yes, you can interchange the cock piece for the Elite with other Elite figures. Just thinking about that is very, very dirty. Very disgusting. I'm just bringing that up. So yeah, there you go for shits and giggles. So that's pretty much going to do it, guys. I'm just going to go ahead and end this video review without armoring him up, and I'll just bring in Master Chief and Spartan Locke one more time for a good comparisons to him without his armor, and you can see him and Master Chief are about even in scale, and Locke is still the smallest of the bunch, so they are working with scale. But when it comes to the Elites, they should be just a little taller. Just a little taller. That's all I'm asking. A little taller. But like I said, with the articulation, you really cannot get this figure any taller than what he already is when compared to Master Chief. It's not there. So, yeah. Articulation on this guy, work with it. The height on this figure are pretty much the covenants of this series, the elites that you've released so far. Work with it. Everything else, you know, I can't fault it. I can't say it's quality control issues, so it's just my figure. You know, the loose hands and all that, just my figure. Your results will vary. So, just articulation and the overall height on these figures is something that McFarlane Toys really needs, or Mattel needs to look at one more time before any more future releases. So, I still recommend the figure overall. He's a great figure, and I'm sorry that this video review was very long, but I had a lot to say on this guy because, you know, this is the one that really let me down. I'm not to the point where he's a failure. I've already said that, but I'm just giving my 2 cents on this figure, and hopefully you will take that into consideration whether or not it's worth picking up. So, questions, comments, you know what to do. Leave it down below in the comment section of this video review. If you liked the video review, hit the thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you know what to do. I don't have to explain it anymore. And if you haven't already, why not hit that subscribe button for more video reviews just like the one you're reviewing today from the reviewing station. This is the one and only Sonic Ranger signing off, and I will see you whenever you see me.